What's going on, Jerome's? We're back. Take a look at another mock draft, and I respect CBS, man. I respect CBS and PFF. They just crank out these mock drafts that change dunes around because, frankly, especially this year with the randomness of the opt-outs and no combine, who knows what the hell is going to happen, right? So all these different scenarios I think that we're talking about, and also what the hell else are we going to talk about? We ain't talking about NFC title game. Go Tom Brady. But, so this is from our guy, Ryan Wilson. There is some lunacy going on. The quarterback tax is in full effect, as well as the Vikings do go offensive line. They get their choice of every offensive lineman not named Penny Sewell, and they go with a name might be a little bit surprising. So let's dive on in. So 1, Jaguars, boring. Trevor Lawrence, boring. Number 2, the Jets take Zach Wilson. Now, he mentioned this could be a placeholder if they want to ship the number 2 overall pick to Houston for Deshaun. I would be good either way. So trading 2 to Houston, maybe some change. I wouldn't be about trading the 2 and like multiple other ones, like maybe 2 and a 1, sure. Otherwise, I'm perfectly happy as a clam just to be like, I'm just gonna take Zach Wilson, and we have another first round pick, so it's whatever. 3, here's where we get cooking, baby. So the Carolina Panthers move up from 8 to 3, even though our guy, hey Teddy, decent bridge quarterback for Justin Fields. Oh my goodness, it would be right because imagine Justin Fields with those receivers, with Christian McCaffrey fully healthy, with Joe Brady. Let's go. So going up and getting their guy. 4, so here's where we get a little bit nutty. So the Falcons taking Mac Jones in this spot over Trey Lance. Now, it is possible that NFL decision makers could see Mac Jones' college production and take his more limited traits, but you're going to go with his production over Trey Lance. Trey Lance is still unknown. Yes, big arm, great mobility, takes care of the football, phenomenal kid. But one year of FCS competition 2 years ago, so I get it. But Mac Jones and Arthur Smith are now joined at the hip, and they'll figure out something to do with Matt Ryan. Maybe they'll cut him. Maybe they'll ride it out for a year with Mac Jones as QB2. But I think you look at what Arthur Smith did in Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill, who, great athlete, okay arm, but was limited in Miami. But maybe that's more about Miami. But I think that Arthur Smith could tailor a really nice offense to build around Mac Jones, where you still have Calvin Ridley and whatever's left of Julio. So it's intriguing. Yeah, decent offensive line when healthy too. So, yeah. So first 4 picks, you got 4 quarterbacks off the board. The QB tax is in full effect. At 5, you got the Bengals. We're just like, okay, I guess we'll take Penny Sewell. Sure. 6, Devante Smith going to the Eagles, where Eagles wide receiver makes a ton of sense. I know a lot of mocks have them going quarterback, but the top 4 quarterbacks are gone. I don't see them going Trey Lance here. Plus, they have 2 quarterbacks. Like, they literally, Howie Roseman, the GM, who is still there, who won the power struggle with Doug Peterson, is literally still there, right? And he took Jalen Hurts in the second round. All right, so, yeah. But Devante, Philly gets a playmaker, put him opposite of a healthy Jalen Reagor. Those are 2 nice weapons for Jalen Hurts. Maybe once, but really Jalen Hurts. 7, so Lions drafting a wide receiver in the first round. Woo! Bring back the Matt Millen days. Let's go. But Jamar Chase, people forget how good Jamar Chase is. Like, he is legitimately a phenomenal outside the numbers receiver. Usually when Justin Jefferson's taken away coverage from, but it kind of sucks because now we have to have him in division twice a year. And maybe the Lions go quarterback here. The new GM, new head coach, Dan Campbell. Hell, maybe they just take a linebacker. Could they take Micah Parsons here? Sure. But they're probably going to lose Baby Tron in free agency. Same thing with Marvin Jones. I think Amendola is washed. So Jamar Chase in this spot. Woo, like it. 8. So it goes QB, Penny Sewell, and then 3 wide receivers. The big 3 going in a row. So Jalen Waddle to the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are able to move down from 3 to 8, pick up some more draft picks from the Carolina Panthers, and baby, still get Jalen Waddle, reunite him with Tua, add that vertical dimension. Preston Williams, Devontae Parker is pretty solid, but just getting that deep threat and just getting it. But of course, if they resign Fitztragic, that's going to be his number 1 guy. 9. So I would be shocked if George Payton, first draft, able to put his own stamp on this team. He didn't draft Drew Lock if he passes on Trey Lance in this spot. Because also, a local-ish kid, went to NDSU and then Colorado. That's close. But Caleb Farley in the spot, I get it. Cornerback 1 in the draft. Best press man cornerback here. Getting Vic Fangio a toy on his way out. Sure. 10. So originally this is the Cowboys pick. Pittsburgh comes all the way up from 24. And I was like, hey, we're here. Yeah, Big Ben is going to retire and no pants for Trey Lance. Now, this does kind of suck because I think Trey will have to play right away. Like, I think that Mason Rudolph is not good enough to keep Trey Lance on the bench, and this might actually be good. So Matt Canada, the former LSU offense coordinator for a year before Joe Brady got there, he is now the new OC for Mike Tomlin and company. Frankly, I think Mike Tomlin is on a little bit of thin ice, which is kind of crazy considering you had an 11-0 team, even though they're frauds. But Trey Lance, he does have some decent receivers, even if Juju leaving. You got Claypool, you got Deontay Johnson, you got Washington. So, I mean, the cupboard isn't bare. The offensive line is going to need an overhaul, though. I mean, Pouncey is probably cooked. DeCastro is definitely getting by on name recognition. That's why he's voted All-Pro. But no, I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers cut him. Villanueva was probably leaving free agency. So Trey Lance does need an offensive line in front of him. But other than that, okay. All right, so 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. Woo! So you're the Giants, and you just get Micah Parsons falling to 11. Okay. Now, you could go edge in this spot. Maybe Rousseau, maybe Kwity Paye, especially Kwity Paye potentially replacing Leonard Williams at that 5 tech, but it's hard to pass up Parsons, man. Just all the physical tools. It seems like a Gettleman special in this spot. The Niners at 12 are just like, oh, okay. I guess we don't get a quarterback, but taking Patrick Surtain, second cornerback off the board to replace Richard Sherman. I get it. 13 Chargers. So, O-line, cornerback, basically everything else except for wide receiver and quarterback, but then just Kyle Pitts. So, assuming that they don't hang on to Hunter Henry, who was on the franchise tag, man. So, you potentially could have 3 of the best tight ends in the league in Waller and Pitts eventually, and Travis Kelce in the same division. That's nuts. That's nuts, man. Oh, and maybe Noah Fant actually gets his head out of his rear. So, yeah, let's get it. And a big time outside the numbers in the slot, move true Joker F tight end. He's great. I mean, what Donald Parham, the pride of Stetson, was able to do this year for the Chargers, imagine that, but like times 10. That's Kyle Pitts. I like it. 14. So instead the Vikings go offensive line, they take the second guy off the board. They have their choice of every offensive lineman not named Penei Sewell. So Elijah Vera-Tucker. Now, I know what you're saying. 14 seems a little bit high, right? I think Tucker's probably a 20s, 30s, maybe top end of the second round type guy. But it's always so subjective because if you really want a guy like Vera-Tucker, like say he ends up being number 2 on the Vikings offensive line board behind Sewell, it's possible, right? And you'd be like, well, our big board says that he should go 20, except you pick 14 and 79. So what are you going to do? You're going to get your guy, or you're going to be concerned about upsetting some dork on the internet's big board. All right, so Vera-Tucker in this spot. I did play some left tackle for USC this season in their truncated Pac-12. And I know, don't draft another USC offensive lineman. Shut up. Scout the player, not the helmet. It also compounds things that he wore number 75 too, so that's whatever. But also, even though he played left tackle this year, was sort of meh. I think he's a much more natural left guard, which he played in 2019. He only allowed 7 pressures and 1 sack in a full season 2 years ago. I think he's got solid movement skills. He's got a great anchor. It's probably the best pure pass protection guard in the draft, since I consider Slater more of a tackle, and also Wyatt Davis is hurt. So, I mean, I get it. A guard at 14 isn't that sexy, but it could potentially be what the doctor ordered. And yeah, you look at who's still on board for the Vikings at 14. You look at Rousseau and Paye. You have your choice of them. And then as far as the pure tackles, you got Darasov, Slater, Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State, Sam Cosmi, Alex Leatherwood. I mean, there's going to be a lot of really good players at 14. And if they stick and pick and take the guard, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Vera-Tucker. But frankly, I think that he is a guy who loves football. He's a great leader up front and can really get after it. So I think I would certainly be okay with it. Like, I would understand it. 15, Patriots, of course, miss out on the quarterbacks, but they're like, okay, we're just going to take Zayvon Collins. We got playing needs all over the place, but could go edge here. Could go Kwity Paye, could go Gregory Rousseau. Actually, Gregory Rousseau is like, by definition, like a Patriots dude. But Zayvon Collins is a rare talent, so and we're on to the second round. 16. So the Cardinals stopped Gregory Rousseau's draft day slide, 15 and a half sacks as a redshirt freshman in 2019. And the Cardinals have been loading up on guys like this, where they were the original pioneers of the money backer with Deion Buchanan. Didn't work out, but then they picked up Isaiah Simmons, who's not a linebacker or a safety or a corner or an edge or whatever. And then Rousseau, not really an edge, not really a defensive tackle, but just a defensive weapon. Eventually you get enough of these guys, they're like, okay, we can do some things, and they'll get Chandler Jones back. They can, add some pressure on the quarterback. So, I like it. Would have preferred Paye, but yeah. 17, the Raiders. So the Raiders watched this mess in front of them the first half of the draft, and then they just get Kwity Paye to fall in their laps. Like, how the hell does that happen? Like, how? Like, Mike Mayock and John Gruden need to be doing backflips at this spot. So Kwity Paye and Max Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Get it. 18. So the Dolphins already have Jalen Waddle in the building. Now they get Rashawn Slater. And I think if coaches and decision makers can get by arm length, which isn't the be-all, end-all, it's kind of important for a tackle, but it's not the be-all, end-all. But Rashawn Slater is absolutely a dude, man. I like it. And if you have him at tackle, certainly could kick him inside the guard. I think he'd be more effective as a tackle, though. But you got Slater and Austin Jackson, the rookie last year out of USC. That's a nice potential bookend tackles for Tua. There you go. 19, Christian Darasov. Now, if you gave me the choice between Slater and Darasov, if you're specifically looking for a left tackle, I would probably go Darasov, but just a utility guy. Slater, I get it. But Darasov, coming in, plop him in a left tackle, and then don't move him for 12 years. Keep him in state, pride of Virginia Tech. Going to get after in the run game. Phenomenal as a pass blocker. I think he might have been PFF's highest graded left tackle this season. So, yeah, they finally replaced Trent Williams for the Washington football team. 20. So the Bears miss out on the QBs. They'll probably re-sign Mitchell Trubisky-Ponder, and for that we thank you. Now, O-line would make a lot of sense. But they did miss out on Slater, did miss out on Darasov, so it's whatever. And also, they're going to lose Allen Robinson in free agency. So Tony in this spot with Darnell Mooney, the pride of Tulane, former fifth-round pick, that's a hell of a pair. Like, that is speed on speed on speed. I like it. It sucks, but I like it for the Bears. 21. So the Colts lost left tackle Anthony Costanzo. He's retiring. So Tevin Jenkins coming out of Oklahoma State, who I think is probably getting overlooked. Like, in terms of the tackle talk, I do like Tevin Jenkins. Maybe he gets dinged for playing in the Big 12, but they actually play some real football there now. It's kind of crazy as opposed to grass basketball. But I think he'll come in. I think he'll be a rock-solid anchor at that left tackle spot, working next to Quentin Nelson. So, yeah, the Colts do it again. The Colts have been really good at offensive line drafting and acquisition, so it's annoying. 22, staying in the AFC South, they got Jason Owe coming in to Tennessee Titans. So Clowney did not work. That they need some edge help. I mean, they got Simmons in the middle. Landry provides some edge help as well, but just getting a physical freak like Jason Owe. Plus, even though there's no combine, Owe, home cooking, Apple Valley, he might run a 4.3. Like a legit 4.3 at 6'5", 260. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Jets back up on the clock. So they got Zach Wilson at 2, potentially Deshaun Watson. Number 23 overall, taking Najee Harris out of Alabama. Now, I understand it. I would have preferred offensive line help to protect Zach Wilson or Deshaun. Najee is great. People forget how good Travis Etienne is. He is, but I think Najee Harris has got some good power as well as has soft hands as a receiver. So, again, I understand it. Yeah. 24, Cowboys. So the Cowboys drop down from 10 to 24 and still get one of the best cornerbacks in the draft. I mean, what the hell? What the hell? Like, I get it. I would actually put J.C. Horn on the same level, but slightly below Surtain and Farley. But if you're telling me that you can pick up some significant draft capital by dropping down, potentially a future first and some change, yeah, I'm good. This is a good spot for the Cowboys. 25, Christian Barrymore coming in on the Jaguars defensive line. So you got Trevor Lawrence on one side. They need some sweetening on that D-line, especially at 3 tech. Taven Bryan coming out of Florida a couple years ago. Doesn't look like he's going to pan out. So him and Devon Hamilton, the nose tackle from the Ohio State University, clogging up that middle. It's a good look for the Jaguars. Urban Meyer. 26, so Olivier Vernon's going to be gone, also got hurt, so they need some edge help opposite of Myles Garrett, so Azeez Ujulari, who, I want to know what Azeez is going to look like in like 3 years, because he could be damn legit. Like, we're talking potentially Von Miller adjacent type level of talent off the edge. 27, so Joseph Asai. This is always annoys me. So the Ravens are always at the back of the pack. They're always good at drafting offensive linemen in the later rounds, and they always get a phenomenal front 7 piece to just fall to them. So last year was Patrick Queen. This year, Joseph Asai, just like, hey, whatever. You're going to lose Matt Judon. You're probably not going to re-sign him. He was on franchise tag. Yannick the freaking Ngakoue is probably leaving. So Joseph Asai just becomes the next great Ravens edge rusher. So annoying. So annoying. 28. So the Saints take Tyson Campbell, the cornerback out of Georgia. Now, you got Lattimore, you got Robinson. You have one more other good cornerback under contract. Oh, it's probably listed here. Oh, Janoris. Oh, nah. So, I don't know. Linebacker makes more sense. Like, maybe you have to reach in this spot and draft Kyle Trask. Maybe, since you only have 3 draft picks. But, yeah. 29. So, the Bucs pick up Travis Etienne. Now, Brady's probably going to be back next year. So I get putting off quarterback. This could be the Kyle Trask spot, though. But, I mean, Rojo's been decent. I mean, Fournette was solid, but they're not Travis Etienne. So, yeah, I get it. I get it. 30. The Bills picking up a nice defensive piece for Leslie Frazier if he sticks around, if he doesn't get the Texans job. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He is the money backer for the modern NFL, hybrid linebacker, safety, and just running all over the place. Because if the Bills do see themselves as a perennial power, and they're going to be matching up against the Chiefs in the playoffs over and over and over again, you do need guys like this. Like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, joke, is potentially the matchup guy against Travis Kelce. Like, if you're playing that far ahead, makes sense. 31, Nick Bolton, linebacker on Mizzou. I love Nick Bolton, man. I do. And a Mike Pettine's 3-4. If you put Bolton right next to Kamal Martin, the former Gopher 5th-round pick, solid pair of linebackers down the middle. And then the Chiefs at 32, picking up Carlos Basham Jr., edge rusher, coming out of Wake Forest. And I like the size, 6'5", 290, can still get after it. Solid against the run, sets the edge, put him opposite of Frank Clark, and then go hunt. So dudes who didn't make it. So dudes who are still left for day 2. You got Leatherwood from Alabama, didn't get selected. Same thing with Davion Nixon. I think that he might have had a shot to go in the first round. Supreme penetrator at that 3-tech spot. Sean Wade. Is he a safety? Is he a corner? We know he's not an outside corner. Darian Kendrick has got the length, like him coming out of Clemson. Rashad Bateman, Gophers wide receiver, didn't go. Kyle Trask, of course, didn't go as well. Rondale Moore. I mean, he does have some significant health questions, and his last really, really good tape was 2018, so I get it. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher from Miami. Morig, Samuel, Wyatt Davis, no matter what, he fell, obviously. Terrace Marshall, wide receivers really tapered off towards the end of this draft. No Dylan Moses, no Javon Holland, no Brady Christensen. He could potentially work his way into the top 40 plus. So, I mean, there's still a lot of talent on board, and I get it. It is super controversial. Vera-Tucker at 14. You're taking a guard at 14 with all that other talent on board. But, if the Vikings do have to stick and pick, and you get a guy that you can put in that left guard spot, and it's not going to be a hindrance to you, it's not going to be a liability like it was all last season, all of a sudden, the Vikings are going to be a team that leans heavily on that offense. And if you can just plug that hole at left guard, is it worth it? It might be. It might be. And I do like AVT, so maybe he'll look good for me. OPP, yeah, you know me. Sure. But your thoughts, take a look at Ryan Wilson, CBS Sports' latest mock draft. Woo! Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.